Hey there, Mom Shine community. You are welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic you do not want to miss. We're talking about teaching our sons about love. From the sweet moment of affection to navigating complex relationship, you will agree with me that love does play a vital role in shaping and nurturing our boys. Grab a cup of water, mocktail, coffee, or whatever you love as we dive in and unpeel every layer in this topic. See you soon. What's love got to do with it? Hello there, welcome once again to Raising Sunshines, a community of moms of boys. We give you the tools and resources to empower you to raise happy, healthy, and of course, spiritually grounded boys. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to be diving into this topic that I know is very close to the heart of a lot of parents and, of course, a lot of moms. From the moment our little ones enter into this world, love becomes the guiding force in everything that as parents we show to them. But how do we ensure that our boys understand the depth and importance of love? How do we nurture them in love? How do we groom them in love? How do we equip them with the right tools to cultivate healthy relationship now and in the future? Whether it's the bond between a parent and a child, a mom and a son, the camaraderie among friends, or the blossoming of first crushes and romantic interest. Love comes in many forms and shapes our sons' experiences in profound ways. And as parents, it's our responsibility to guide them through this journey with wisdom, patience, and of course, love. So that brings me to the first thing we're going to be talking about, which is modeling love. We are the primary role model for our children in showing them love, expressing love, and teaching them how to receive love and giving it to other people. The question will be, do you love yourself? Like there's a popular saying that says you can't pour from an empty jar. So it's whatever you have stored in you that you are able to give out to other people. So for our sons to see us as a great role model for expressions of love or showing love, then we need to love ourselves. In loving ourselves, we're going to be talking about, do you value yourself? How do you see yourself? Do you have low self-esteem? They play a huge role in what our sons see. You'll be surprised that the way you view yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you react to things actually goes a long way in showing whether you really love yourself or not. And our children look at all of these things, they see it. So let us be careful and let us, heal within. So if there's something you need to do, there's a trauma that you need to heal from, we need to start as parents to ensure that we ourselves are capable of loving ourselves before we can love other people. It brings me to the ways that we can actually show our sons love. For me, my boys love to hold me, especially when they were growing up. I have one that is in college right now who might not really show me a lot of love, but my youngest, which is 6 going on 7, will always come cuddle up to me. Mommy, I love you. You are the prettiest. Plays with my hair. Even the one as a teenager, today I found him playing with my hair and just rubbing, touching my hair and everything. Sometimes the instinct is to say, oh, move, because they can get really cozy. And I'm like, I need some space. But I realized that every time I try to do that, I'm pushing them away, and it's showing like I do not care or value them because they're actually giving me some love. So every time you shush them away, it's almost like you're rejecting the warmth and the love that they're advancing towards you, and that could really hurt them. And you will see that if they try the first time, second or third time, they will not come back and do that. So we should be able to show physical affection. And in showing physical affection, of course, there has to be boundaries. And very soon as they're growing, they themselves will outgrow all of this. So the right foundation is showing them that you truly love them, listening to them. Boys actually love to give love. And so we need to be very careful so that you don't go breaking their heart. Sometimes the first heartbreak a boy child or a son might be from his mom or be from his dad. So you don't want to be the reason why your child will go for mental health. Think about that. I also realized that one of my boys his love language is actually spending quality time. So he loves it. So he was like, yesterday went to the library, and then he said, "Oh mom, I love the time we spent in the library. We're able to play games together, we got books together, and we enjoyed the ride home. I actually love it. Can we have more of this?" And I realized again, no, not that I realized, he just confirmed to me that his love language is actually quality time. So we need to find out the love languages of our children. Some will love words of affirmation, and my last boy also loves quality time, acts of expression, and he also loves words of affirmation. So sometimes he will come and say, "Mom, you didn't tell me that I look good today." And I'm like, "You always look good. You're a king. You look so handsome." But he is asking because he needs to know that he's looking good. But I tell him, you look good anyways. Even if I don't tell you, always know you look good. Actually telling him that I love him is like a whipped cream on the cake. So we need to show this more, because I've seen a lot of moms of boys say, "Oh, are your boys really touchy and all of that?" And I say yes, but we should ensure that we receive it with grace, and of course put some boundaries there. Again, words of affirmations are really important for ourselves and for our boys. Like in the morning, my boys always, come up and read up their affirmation. "I'm strong, I'm brave, I'm kind, I love others unconditionally, I have the love of Christ in me," and all of that. All this words of affirmation goes a long way, because it's building them up for the future, because already they know the importance of love. And I also want to quickly point out to say that as Christian, like I'm a Christian, and most of the things that I learn about are based on my faith journey. And I remember when Jesus told his disciples, like he rebuked them, was like, "Let the little children come to me," because we're trying to shush them away. So Jesus also knows that it's important to connect with the children. It's important for them not to belittle them or feel left out. So always draw your little ones close to you. Even the ones that are young adults, find a way to draw them close to you. Find a way to, cultivate relationship. And that takes us to the next thing: developing emotional intelligence. So let's talk about nurturing relationship, and we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. How can we build that? How can we ensure that our boys are equipped with great emotional IQ? It starts with us, actually. It starts with the way, like I talked about, we are the primary role model for them. So we need to create a safe space for our boys to be able to communicate and communicate openly and effectively. You don't want to have like an environment where your boys are scared to come and share their feelings because they feel that mommy is going to whoop me, daddy is going to whoop me. You need to ensure that you connect with your children. You have a connection with them. You have a relationship with them. It's until you have a relationship that they can open up to you. And in having a relationship is also ensuring that you create a safe space, so they know that they can always walk up to you to tell you how their day went, or if something is bothering them, they're able to, speak to you, and you'll be able to give listening ear. Apart from creating the safe space, it's also about, are you listening to them? Sometimes your boys can come and meet you and they want to say something really important, but you're on your phone and your eyes are still on your phone, glued to your phone. You will see that they will kind of just say, "Okay, I'll come back." And then by the time they come back, they're not in the mood to talk about it. So creating a safe space and also ensuring that we give a listening ear will really go, forth for ensuring that they build, emotional IQ. Next step is also for them to be able to identify their emotions from the very young age, when they're crying, when they're happy, when they're excited, when they're frustrated, when they feel down. Let them be able to identify them, you teaching and guiding them. So for the young ones, so how do you feel today? "I feel sad, I felt discouraged, I feel that I did not hit my goal and that is frustrating. I felt embarrassed by the way you spoke to me. I felt, less confident because I did not, hit the goal that I." Let them express all of this, and it's by you sometimes guiding them. So how did that make you feel? Okay, so your team lost today. How did that make you feel? "Oh, well, sad." Like if my boys come back from a basketball game or a soccer game or football game, the first thing is, if they're so happy, if they want, I will know from the countenance. Oh, mom, we won today. And when I see him coming and I know when he lost, and I'm like, so how does that make you feel? I just try to speak to him. Sometimes he's not in the mood to talk about it, but then he comes up and say, oh, really? Do you know he was a coach from the other team? He was this guy on the team that just made us to lose and all of that. By speaking to them and encouraging them to actually speak out, they are able to identify, label these emotions, and then we are able to deal with such emotions. Another important aspect to emotional intelligence is actually empathy. Showing empathy, listening. Okay, how does that make you feel? So how was it? Tell me more about that. Just showing that you care, listening. Sometimes empathy is about just listening and asking them, do you want me to say anything? We need to be the first people that will ensure that we show empathy to our children, and they are also able to show empathy to other people. I would say in our relationship with other people, the way we react to our domestic staff, in the way we talk about our bosses at work, like we're just talking about how our day went, the kind of things we say, or in the way we see people on the street begging and we just, dismiss them and say these ones are just losers. Showing empathy to other people, by doing this, you also show your children that empathy is actually really important and needed. Everything going on social media and all of that, empathy is really needed. Sometimes you go to some comment section and you see adults who are broken based on the comments they put in the comment section. You'll be like, why so much hate? It starts from the home, it starts from the family, it starts from what they've seen their parents do, not showing love to one another, just belittling them, belittling other people around them. So empathy is one key ingredient that we need in raising emotionally balanced boys. And we need to teach our boys that other people have their own perspective. So you do not lodge your opinion on other people. Like in a conversation, you're speaking to your child, for example, and he says, Mom, I don't think that's right. This is what I feel. And you don't even allow him to talk because you feel I'm the mom and I know better than you. That already is bringing down your son. That already is showing that you don't value his own perspective and your own perspective is greater. He in turn is going to do it to his friends, he's going to do it to his teachers, he's going to do it to the people he meets, he will do it to his siblings. So we need to actually be very careful and make them to know that other people's perspective should be valued as well. Even little boys have big emotions, so that's why you see them throw tantrums and they can just display all sort of emotions because they're going through so much and they don't even know how to express it. That's how we come in as parents, and we come in by showing them the coping mechanism. Like when you are angry, what can you do? Take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. From the early childhood, we practice this with them. It helps them. If they feel down, you are there to build up their confidence, to tell them words of affirmation. Affirm these words over your life. I am brave. I am strong. I am light. I am capable of receiving love and giving out love. I love others even when it's not convenient, but still, I know my place and my boundaries. Just affirming words to them and ensuring that you give them coping mechanisms. It might also be to journal, and I know sometimes boys may not like to write. It might be listening to songs that are edifying. It could be a coping mechanism. Some of them like to write, so allow them to journal their pains. It might also be just spending one-on-one time with a trusted person. It could be you. Most of the time it could be you because you're the one they can lean on to, or just their mentor. But of course, we need to be sure that we are, guiding them and directing them to the right mentors, because sometimes it might be in the academics and they need to speak to a coach in their school or speak to like their student advisors in school. So, but ensuring that we set the stage for this coping measures and coping mechanism is setting them up for a great future and raising a boy who is capable of loving and giving love. Now let's explore one or two fundamental building blocks of healthy relationship, which is respect and communication. There's a saying that respect begets respect. So teaching our sons about respect and communication is really important and very, very essential. I know that sometimes my dad, could have been a bit firm, but I knew when to go talk with him. But I'm speaking to the African parents right now. So we need to learn to show respect and value our sons, because in treating them bad or in talking them down or in dismissing their emotions, you're setting them up for failure. That's it. Now we're going to talk about boundaries. I remember my son coming home and telling me someone they want to play with him in school. And I'm like, she could be having a moment or he could be having a moment. And sometimes we want to be on our own. So when someone tells you I'm not in the mood, just give them the space. It's not every time they want to talk to you. So sometimes I'll also show them, like, there has to be boundaries in relationship. If you're playing with a person and tickling the person and the person is saying stop, I'm not enjoying it, stop, I tell them no means no. These are things we need to let our sons know from as little as 2-3 years old. No means no. When the person you're playing with is not enjoying the play, you're doing this and the person says no, let them know that no means no and stop it. That's a way that we can actually practically teach them about boundaries and consent. Sometimes I tell my toddler, I will ask him, did you ask if the person was really ready to play with you? Because consent is something that in the African community is not really spoken about, because parents feel, well, who are you? If I tell you to do something, you must do it. So I'm talking about them in the relationship with probably their domestic helps and everything. So they've seen these things play out and they feel they can just barge into people and feel that the person should be available for them at that time. Everybody has what they're dealing with. So they should learn consent, privacy, and boundaries. I know that these things varies per their ages and per the circumstances of your family. So try to know, the complexity of your family and ensure that you're able to teach your children consent, privacy, and of course, boundaries. As parents, how we resolve conflict with our friends, with our partners, with our spouses actually matters. That's how we teach our sons to how they can, manage conflict and painful, breakups and all of that. So if you have, say, you and your spouse, had an issue and all you guys do is yell at each other all the time, and that's how you feel you solve your problems, by yelling, disrespecting yourself, calling yourselves names, that's the way they will assume that's how you resolve conflict. But if you're able to have an open communication with your spouse, with your friend, with your neighbors, and you're able to speak to them to let them know, you did this to me and it made me feel this way, I'd rather you not do this next time. I'm open to hearing from you why you did that, so that can help me to know where all of this came from. When we speak this way, our children are able to know that there's a better way to actually resolve conflict. Resolving conflict is not by shouting or by yelling or beating people. There was a time that a parent had actually told me that if my child comes back home and says that someone, pushed him in school or bullied him, I would tell him to go back the next day and beat up the child. And I'm like, why are you encouraging violence? They were like, no, it's not violence. They need to put the other child in their place. If not, the person will keep doing it. And I'm like, what if the violence leads to death? What are you going to say about it? I understand the place of, being firm and being assertive, but there are better ways to actually be firm and assertive without, bringing in violence. And that takes us to the next level. Now, this brings me to navigating romantic relationship, and let me breathe in and out, because this, oh my goodness. So from their first crush to teenage fantasies and to long-term relationship, we need to be like the guiding light for our sons in this phases of their life. They're all different stages, and for me, the first thing is letting them know their self-worth, affirming them, and letting them develop their own self-love and self-confidence. So when I mean self-love, they know that they are loved, they know their worth. And this brings me to my faith as a Christian. And these are the things I teach my boys to know, that even while you were yet a sinner, Jesus Christ died for you. He loved you so much that he laid his life for you. And so you are loved. Irrespective of what you have done or what you have been through or your current situation, Jesus loves you. And so by them knowing their self-worth, they're able to receive love, accept love, and nurture it and give it to other people, and also affirm other people. This also brings me to consent, boundaries, healthy boundaries, and of course, respect. I touched on that earlier, but then I'm reiterating it because it's really important. There are a lot of, in quotes, men, male children, boys, adults in the prison today because they fail to recognize that no means no. Because they felt the no was subtle. It couldn't mean that she really said no, but no actually means no. So, just from their very young age, giving them and teaching them all these things about boundaries is really, really important. One other thing that I feel people, or especially women, fail to recognize is that sometimes you are the architect of your son's misfortune. I say this because sometimes we, in our conversation, maybe you're on the phone with your girlfriend and you're gisting and you are belittling the woman next to you, gossiping about another woman, demeaning her in terms of her looks and everything. These things are the things we say casually, and our boys listen to it and they act on it. Somehow is ingrained in their consciousness and they feel, well, my mom called the other lady, she's a I didn't say that. But then it's really important, as I was joking about that, but still the things we say about women, when we gossip about ourselves, the way we pull ourselves down, we need to be very careful about it, because our sons listen to this conversation and they feel, oh yes, if a woman is saying this about a woman, why can't I as a boy say that? And I also feel we should speak about heartbreaks, especially for the boy child. For our sons, they also experience heartbreak. I feel a lot of moms actually are there for their girls when they have a heartbreak, more than we are there for our sons when they have a heartbreak. Boys actually, their hearts to break. I remember that my 6-year-old was telling me I did something to him and said, you just broke my heart. And that period he kept saying, you broke my heart, I'm very hurt, you just broke my heart. And I'm like, what does a 6-year-old child knows about heartbreak, hotel? And I had to ask him, exactly what did I do? And then he explained to me, I was talking to you, we're not listening to me, you dismissed me. I was like, he actually said I was talking to you and you do not listen, and he felt heartbroken, like heartbroken. So I would just encourage us to be, to watch out for this sign. Sometimes, you have teenage boys that had a crush and they kind of muster up the courage to go and meet a girl, and the girl just outrightly, is mean to them or just dismisses their affection. We need to watch out for the cues, the signs, when you see that it's withdrawn and all of that. We need to help them to navigate, heartbreaks and all of this complex relationship. And we need to show it by the way we also deal with heartbreaks, or we deal with situation like, oh, we are vulnerable, we're open to them. It's not like we're telling them everything that's happened in our relationship, but letting them know that heartbreaks are real. It will definitely happen, but then we need to move on. Life has to go on. And how can we deal with it? It's the way you deal with it. Do you sit there all day sulking for the next 3 weeks and not doing anything? All of those things, our children and our boys see it and they just feel that's the way to go. I'm not saying that there's a time limit for you to just get up and mend your heart back. No, but by just affirming yourself, asserting who you are in Christ Jesus, knowing that you are loved, can help you just go through it. So what are the coping mechanisms that you as well used for that period? You can be vulnerable and share with them, and just be open to speaking with them, not just shutting them off or laughing at them. That is really, really important, and I felt I should say that. Let's talk about love languages. I touched on that earlier. And this concept was developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. He talked about understanding our partner's love languages. And he actually spoke more about 5 types of love languages. There's acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation. So by the time you understand your children, each child is unique. Your sons are unique. The way your first child, your first son, their love language will be different from the other person. Some of them just kind of encapsulate all of this, and some are just like words of affirmation, acts of service. So you need to really dive deep to see. And for you to be able to dive deep, you need to have a relationship with them to know exactly what their love language is. I know my son's love language. One of them has a combination of words of affirmation. He loves acts of service. He also likes physical touch and spending quality time, while the other person just strives with words of affirmation and acts of service. So we need to ensure that we know all these concepts so that we're able to know how we can give them love, and it's easy for them to also receive our love. You get it? So once you identify your son's love language, it's time to incorporate it into your daily lifestyle, your relationship with him, and you just keep giving it to him, and you see your son blossom. I can attest to this, seriously. It can be volunteering together. It can just be you praising him. I remember one time my mom was around, and then just used to sing praises in our local dialect to my son, and you see his face light up. She would dance and she would just sing praises for him, and he would just naturally light up, especially when he's going to have like a big moment in school the next day. That really spurs him up. So we need to identify it. For instance, if his love language is acts of service, you consider volunteering with him. You can consider working together as a team, doing household chores together, and all of those things, and that will definitely make your child to blossom. If it's words of affirmation, find practical ways to speak the word of affirmation. Encouraging our sons to communicate their own love languages and expressing their preferences will definitely help. And creating an open space, a safe haven for them for communication, and for them to just let us know what is going on in their life is really, really going to help. Remember that incorporating these love languages into your family dynamics is a journey. So it's not something that you just start today and then you just start to work. There might be a form of resistance, because change is it's a difficult process, and you can't be there in day one. Like, you can't fully enjoy the benefit, but taking it one day at a time, showing love one day at a time, is what is going to help make a difference. And for the child to know that mommy is actually taking a conscious effort, for your son to know that my mom or my dad, my parents are actually making conscious effort to know what I like, will also make them to pause and also accept this love, feel it, and be able to give it back to other people. By learning our son's love language, we can deepen our relationship with them, we can cultivate healthy relationship, and we can create a safe world for everyone out there. We've come to the end of today's topic. So now that we've explored about love and teaching our sons about relationship, it's time for us to put all of this insight into action. If you've not already, hit the subscribe button. Now is the best time for you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so that you will be able to be notified about the next juicy topic that we're going to be dealing with next week. What are the things that stood out for you in this video, and in your journey as mothers or as parents, for those raising boys? Tell me how you've been able to navigate those stages of romantic relationship, of how you have helped them to deal with first crushes or teenage fantasies and all of that. If you've actually done something really brilliant, please share with the community so that we can all enjoy those things and we can all raise amazing sons. Please do not forget to share this video with a mom of boy, with a dad of boy, or any caregiver parenting boys. Let us raise happy, healthy, and of course godly sunshines. Till I see you next time, remember that love is the greatest. Bye.